Senator Brooks, the state Senator Brooks, from that, is he from It may be that, Suffolk, but he's,
He straddles the line.
he is really came up forcefully at me. He wants to
Yeah, I know.
mediation. So,
I spoke with him on a voting issue. He was right there with me, but the Senate did nothing.
okay, but at least we have someone, so, you know, he said if we have any issues, then turn to him, and he'll help. It's always good to have someone
Oh, yeah,
there
yeah,
for us,
absolutely.
because we're not usually that controversial, but if we get some other help getting things done, it's good. He has an issue on his, I guess, there are three stops on his lot that have no elevators, three.
Yeah.
So they came to another station. So he's all up and he's working on that, so he's interested. So I told him that they'd be starting up and he's interested in anything you want to run by him, he's interested in working on. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, so whatever it is, you know, we might as well take advantage of it while we can. So any other questions on my report? No? Okay, we'll skip the board before Larry gets here. Bill, you want to give us a staff report?
Yeah, just real quick, what we've been hearing from people, over email, electronics stuff is obviously the crowding for the summer. People talked about that. Somebody wanted more quiet cars, and you know, that's a matter of opinion, I guess. The timetable changes we had, I guess, back at the end of May, have messed up some people with work. The ticket collection, that's being raised as an issue again. That stuff, tickets aren't being collected after Jamaica, and again, we've had this recurring thing with the workers for the work at Hicksville parking in the town of Babylon, or town of Hicksville, Oyster Bay.
Bill, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask, after he does his presentation,
Yeah.
we do our stuff, I'm gonna ask him, come back, and I'm gonna say, as an example of what we do at our meetings,
Yeah.
we talk about issues we get, and I'm gonna ask you to read that list to Mr. Hank.
Sure.
And let him hear what we're hearing from riders, see if he says, I know about that, or let's just give an example of what we're
Sure,
hearing.
no problem.
So when we come back to do that again.
Well, some of the parking issues, kind of keep in mind, are not his,
Yes,
you know,
I'm
he
sure
shouldn't
he'll
be-
say that.
And we
I'm sure he'll
actually-
say that.
They actually put a question in there about that, see how he reacts to it.
Yeah, because at Belmore now, the big issue is that we have Crunch Gym opened up in Belmore, and people from Crunch Gym are parking in the commuter spots, and they're getting ticketed $140 tickets for the county, because they don't have a sticker.
Mhm.
So there's like a lot of people flipped out.
I bet they are. Another thing I wanted to say real quick, I think everybody knows I'm retiring in October.
Yeah.
You know that?
Huh?
I feel bad, I didn't know.
You didn't know? I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
One
I
question.
thought you were on, I thought you may be on the phone.
Okay, I don't mean to break your balls over this, but how come we haven't seen your job posted yet?
It's
I mean,
in.
you announced like 3-4
That's
months ago.
what I'm gonna tell you. It's in human resources. They're supposedly, they just had a meeting I think it was yesterday. There's a hiring freeze at the MTA. And so everything has to be decided by a committee, by like the head of labor relations, the chief financial officer, and somebody else, whether or not they can actually hire somebody. So that went to that committee. My job went to that committee yesterday, and it's back to HR, which is supposedly getting the posting. So that posting's going to be out pretty shortly, and
Gee, you must reply, get out of my rat race and tell them.
yeah, so that's going to be out.
Based on what Bill was saying, because September's his last month.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's
really.
that's a PCAC month, so I'm gonna request, guys, that we have a meeting anyway, since it's Bill's last month, to go over whatever stuff that we're working
Sure.
on.
Sure.
And
Sure, we can do that. I mean, I'm going to be here in October, but not late into October, just like the first week.
Dare you?
So, but anyway, yeah. But anyway, the idea is there's going to be the executive committee is basically going to do the interviews, and they're all going to meet the candidates, at least the ones that make the cut, and they're going to have rounds. They've been talking about 3 rounds, having like 3 rounds for the finalists to go through 3 rounds. So everybody has a pretty good sense of who are the potential hires. So that's the process.
If you know any people, groups, organizations, sites that we should be sending it to,
Yeah.
you know, the community, you know,
Yeah, as soon as
transit
we get it.
advocates, everybody that you know, let Bill know, because we'll.
As soon as we get an official
Yeah.
posting, we'll get it out to people. So, and we don't, you know, I mean, they have to go through the MTA, you know, system, go through the website and everything. But as far as us giving it to people and saying, hey, if you know somebody that's might be interested, give it to them, have them apply through the MTA website.
It would be nice to have a long-out person in that position, so,
Yeah.
you know,
So
don't
you
hesitate to get it out there.
so hand it out, as soon as we get the official posting back.
Legal law firms?
Take that pay cut.
As soon as we get the official posting out, we'll get it out, and, you know, don't hesitate to pass it around.
I know it'll be included in that when it's finally posted, but what type of background or forte
I think,
does that role require?
I think we asked for, basically, I think we asked for a bachelor's degree and, I forget, 8 years of experience or something like that in transportation, something like that. I can't recall exactly. We did a little bit of tinkering to it, just because we didn't wanna, at first we had looked at a master's degree, which is, I think is pretty useful for a position, but we didn't wanna cut out anybody who had like a, you know, say a law degree, you know. I mean, you know, you don't want, or a lot of experience.
But definitely transportation.
Yeah.
I've been driving a car for 40 years, is that including transportation?
Yeah.
They've been riding the.
People
Riding the railroad for
people in
40 years,
Walker-
too.
Yeah, just this morning's commute was, you know, 20 of those.
Yeah.
All right, I wanna get through before he comes, so.
Okay, yeah.
For you?
No, that's it, that's it.
Member reports, Mike, anything, Larry, Matt, could you let Larry in, please?
Not really, it's just,
Okay.
you know, we've been watching and listening and whistles, we need those whistles.
Okay, we'll bring it up again later today, make sure you add it on, if it's not on there, add it onto your little thing, if it's not already on there.
No.
Anything that besides what you said, Brian, anything that besides what you said? Anything else?
Thank you.
subway car I was in.
I said that.
I think that subway car I was in, just go back on
Please
the
don't be
subway.
disruptive. Jerry, anything, can you give us some communications committee report?
Yeah, it's still lacking a lot of things. There was an issue the other night, I was on was supposed to be on the 7:30 train. And
You look good.
they canceled it due to some sort of problems, told us to take the 7:41. And they posted that the connection would still be with the 7:41. Myself and a couple of other veteran riders were skeptical, because now we're leaving 11 minutes later and we're going from a semi-local to an Uber local. So we get there and of course there's no connection. But yet they announced in Penn Station there'd be a connection. They put it on the board and took the time to transfer the connection from the 7:30 they canceled to the 7:41. And nothing showed up.
One for Jerry.
So I mean, for somebody like me, you know, we knew what happened. But for someone who was just a day tripper, they get to Babylon, they're looking for the train east, and there's nothing. No announcements, no, sorry for the inconvenience, you'll be, you know, accommodated by the next train east. Nothing, just total radio silence. And, you know, there was problems with communications because, you know, we had one of the riders actually questioned the conductor, he said, wait a second, you told us the connection would be here, well, Jamaica told us it would be there. So, my problem was the next night, I caught the 7:30 again, and
You could put us on, not on, but this is part of the meeting, we're officially in.
yeah, we're
It's
officially.
recording.
Okay, good.
The red light blinking.
I
So,
think when we said we're gonna start, she's pretty good at that.
so I asked the conductor, I says, what time did you guys leave last night? Yeah, regular time. They didn't say the whole for us or anything. They said, no. In fact, I questioned the tower when there was nobody on my train, should I leave or wait? And they said, go. So it's like, of course, I sent a nice, lovely email to Hector, which he did respond to. I got a response today, and he said it's gonna be a lesson learned thing. There was a mix-up, but you can see that something was wrong there. You know?
Somebody, they didn't communicate with the crews well enough to
Now-
know what was going on.
Apparently, they must have, that email must have gotten their attention. I was on the 7:30 again last night. While they ran the 7:30, they converted it from its normal run, which is a semi-local, to another Uber local. I mean, we stopped from St. Albans all the way, we stopped everywhere but Lisa Pica's house. And we had both Massapequa and Massapequa Park, so maybe we did. And they said they'd hold a connection, and they did. We were 18 minutes late to Babylon, and they held a connection. So I mean, that was a good sign. Of course, to what someone told Bill about ticket collections, there were no tickets collected either on the electric train to Babylon or from Babylon to Patchogue on the diesel line. And it's a Wednesday, so you have your day trippers, hey, free ride. So, but other than that, I mean, the communications, they'll run like for a week where it's really good and everything appears to be fine, and then you'll have like a day or 2 days in a row where it just like falls to crap. So I don't know whether they have one good guy, and if he takes time off, you know, the guys who fill in for him. There was one disappointment, and I'm probably being too picky, but when we had the golf tournament, and they're sending out email alerts. The train from Southampton College is running 10, 15 minutes late to overloading. That was a veteran person who sent out that email alert, because a newbie wouldn't even know Southampton College ever had a station, because they haven't had a train station in 15 or 20 years. They built a station just for this tournament. They named it Shinnecock Hill Station. And yet, the guy in the railroad who's sending out the email alerts can't get it right. That's frustrating. I mean, that's frustrating.
Well, I guess the issues are.
I mean, we know what he meant, but I mean, still.
I guess what I'd like to do is I'd like you to ask for help. And
Yeah.
how can everybody here help you? Because you're recounting things that you're observing, we want to go beyond that. So what, as chair, what are you asking for people to do?
Well, the
To
other,
send you things? Or
basically
do
the
you
other
want to
branch
tell
is
us
just if you see something that's, because I get Ronkonkoma because sometimes I have to go there in an emergency. So I get Ronkonkoma and I get Babylon and Montauk. But if something goes wrong in the Long Beach branch, if something goes wrong in Port Jefferson, I really don't get the email alerts. And I understand Port Jefferson sucks, you know.
I don't sign up for the alerts,
Yeah.
because just to me, they're just information overload and they're meaningless to the frequency that I ride, and
Yeah.
I take different trains every day to different places. But for me, I could send experiences like I did today.
Yeah, like today,
here.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was just a total,
The Express
shit
didn't
show,
show up,
you
so
know,
you
we're-
grabbed the local and then you.
and then the other one shows up and they keep us there to let this train pass, and they don't let us off to catch the express. And we're hollering to the guy and he just shrugs his shoulders.
I would like to,
So I can point out,
Yeah, things
commit
like
to
that.
point out
That's-
examples like that, but
but I would like.
how things are being communicated to us, again, I don't sign up for them because
I want you to give your example today. I'm gonna point to you to give your example when we get to that stage, because I think that he probably does not know that from today.
What station is he coming from?
Yes.
He was from,
And it-
Smithtown.
I know more,
Okay, so he is in diesel territory.
He's out there.
more of the communication things that you've been collecting is how they're communicating to us or lack thereof.
yeah, it's.
But I've been bringing up like, and you mentioned it also, I think these boards at Hicksville, like
Not
they're
readable.
unreadable and they're
Not
this
readable.
new technology and they're colorful. I think that goes into communication, so it might not be verbal
Yeah,
communication.
no, any communication.
But those signs are hard to read, and I sent 2 pictures to you guys today on the way too. If you stand anywhere in the middle of them, I don't care what type of vision you have, you cannot read the sign to your left or to your right. You need to be within 25 feet of either one of them, and they're spaced out further away than they were prior to the construction at Hicksville, which, I mean, I know it's Hicksville
Yeah.
specific, but I'm sure it's at other stations too. You come up the stairs, you want a board right there, you don't wanna walk 50 yards to see a board to find out, oh shit, I walked
Yeah.
up the wrong stairs, I gotta go back down and over to another side.
Well, did you all notice that the voiceover has been changed, the wording is now, instead of the 7:21 will arrive, is expected to
Well, because they've
arrive.
changed to.
Countdown time.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
the
still
day
not-
time
still not right
arrival
anyway.
instead of later, that's the time arrival.
Well, so I think, that, like, even bringing up how they're communicating visually is just as poor as verbally. And I know we talk a lot about giving the verbal of the emails, but I think those boards need to be stressed more as well.
And the countdown clocks are a bit of an embarrassment. They rolled them out without getting the bugs out of it. Okay, fine, they're trying. But how long have we had countdown clocks? 2-3 months
Well,
now?
that's on the list here, so.
Yeah, what I'm just saying is that
That's
there's
on the
been no
questions.
improvement. It's-
But that's one of the
yeah.
questions, so.
Was that
I guess
was
I'm just
that a
trying-
real
I'm just
need
trying to
from
get you help.
riders?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get your help, so
yeah,
what do you
appreciate it.
want from everybody to do besides, okay, Brian told you what he's gonna start doing.
If you see
What else do you
anything,
want?
yeah, if you just see anything, if you experience anything out of the ordinary, or you see anything out of the ordinary, that, you know, just send an email, because we have, Sheila and, Bill's office, she's keeping a little file of all these emails and stuff, or emails that we send,
She's,
saying that this happened or that happened, you know, and then this way we have a record of, you know, what's been going on with the railroad.
So as an example, mine that I sent today, will you
Yeah, I
and
can,
the team
I'll forward
address
that,
that?
yeah, I'll forward that to Sheila. and
Just so
tell her
I
to
know,
put it-
I don't need.
I'll tell her to put it in the communications folder, and then this way,
But at some point, but there are certain ones that we have to do more than that, certain
Yeah.
ones.
We need an
we flag.
answer too.
yeah,
Certain ones
Yeah,
just
I
been
mean,
full, so we have to
sure.
decide, you
Yeah.
decide
yeah.
if you think it's something we need to
what,
forward.
what's
Okay, yeah.
keep it
something
forward.
we need to, yeah. go to railroad about.
The countdown clocks, I understood when the subway rolled it out, because you don't know what time a train's coming.
Oh, yeah,
So the
heavy,
countdown
yeah.
clock makes sense, but for us, I just see it as a way to mask saying late. They don't wanna use the term late, so instead of the train being late 7 minutes, well, it's gonna arrive in 7 minutes. It sounds a little friendlier. I don't understand what the purpose of the countdown clock
You
was,
could
the
ask if
Long
it's on
Island
there, but
Railroad.
the
Yeah.
purpose was to, they're trying to say they're actually tracking the train itself instead of an approximate, it's approximately 10 minutes late. They're trying to say that it's gonna be here in 6 minutes, 7 minutes
I
versus.
think it's just a
that's-
way of not saying it's late.
No, it's still late. It's still late.
But when you step off the
But
train.
when
and
somebody
look, it
gets
says
on a
it's
train-
arriving in 2 minutes, and you're already getting off it, you know?
Or if I know it's gonna be 10 minutes late, I could pretty much predict I'm gonna get to my destination 10 minutes late. But when you tell me my train's gonna be in 5 minutes, well, how late am I gonna be in the end?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I think it's just a
just
play
want-
on words on
I
purpose.
just wanted, before they come, just Ira, you have anything for the board report?
No, I don't. Only that I'm not gonna be the board member after December, in all likelihood, because my term expires. And I'm accepted a nomination to be a New York City Civil Court judge. So if I'm doing that, I can't do this.
Civil
We-
court judge.
Yes.
We know it's nothing's official till after the election, but we
Right.
have to start thinking about it.
That's something to start thinking about now.
Well, congrats
Was
on
there
that
anything,
offer.
was there anything at the board meeting? I totally forgot. It
There-
seems like it's been 3 months.
Not a
since I've-
lot, it was not a lot, because they had the joint, the railroad committees were joined this month.
Well, but there was something,
Past
What is that?
Yeah, in June.
Bill,
Was
there
that-
is that.
I got the book.
Wait,
I can
Bill,
prove it.
Bill, we do that,
Oh, this month they're not, I'm sorry.
that the Nassau board member is given his resignation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
So
That's
that's
not,
That's,
The what?
yeah,
The board
yes,
member from Nassau
there is no,
County.
there is no
really?
Nassau County member,
So,
and there won't be one probably till next
Well,
June.
well,
3 names that were sent out by the governor, which I sent out to all you guys, that happened, interesting names. So that is another board related issue that.
Yeah,
Well, you
Nassau
Nassau
County
need to
does
know.
not have a
There
board
is no
member.
board member.
right, yeah, for, again, a year, they will not have.
Well, Fair Heights, that's already been voted, correct? That's what-
No.
No,
No.
Oh,
It's
you want
voted-
fair increase hearings are after the election.
It'll get voted in
Oh, it's
December
after
this
the
year.
election.
It's the
Yeah,
governor's
it'll be
election,
December.
so.
So
They're typically, it's been every other year. There was a letter, I'll forward it to you, I should have forwarded it, from Mitch Pally, really from Mitch Pally. Neil signed it too, Neil Zuckerman, but asking that there not be a fare increase this cycle, because the fares are too high.
Well,
So,
we'll see how far that goes.
well, it was addressed to the governor and the leaders of the Assembly and the Senate, but I just said, we'll see where that goes.
that takes some, alternative funding.
Yeah, that's why he said it to the governor. and
Yeah, right, yeah.
But,
Well, maybe with
let me forward that, that's of critical importance, I suppose. It's interesting, I don't know if it's, we'll see what it is.
So what we're gonna do is, he is going to show us this video that they
Oh, that's
have
right.
on the
You
projects,
gave that,
and the projects, and then he, I guess he'll say a couple of words afterwards, they will then have questions. I've signed up any questions, Jerry, you're gonna take, the track and run away questions.
Okay.
And then we'll see how long, I'm sure he'll stay, questions how long you guys will stay. Hopefully you'll stay to the end, so, we're not gonna have them that often because, it doesn't make sense to have them that often. So that's the way it's gonna do. I read you his bio, so I'm not gonna do it again, cause I really wanna get started already late
Where is he?
His train was late.
Sorry, come on.
I don't know.
He does ride the
We know
railroad.
this coming, we know they're coming here because you've set up, so we know that.
They knew where they're at.
I'm gonna tell that guy he can come back in.
Who do we need out there?
It's Ira's, you just.
Ira.
Ira. Civil
It's a-
court, that's elected,
Yes,
so you gotta run and do the whole night.
well, yeah, but
It is Queens. Said.
there hasn't been a primary for.
Has
Supreme
everybody
Court judge
told
in
Bill if they wanna go
my
on the
lifetime.
tour? Everyone's responded to
Yeah,
him?
I just haven't
I'm not going there ever
responded to
again
people.
until it's open. I'm on strike.
You're on strike. and
What-
nothing.
No, the board, they invited board members to go, like, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, we went. So I wanna go, at that time I said, we have to go to the Queen's side, cause that's where all the problems are.
Yeah,
So in this room, are you the one that, Brian said you wanted to go?
I said I go, yes.
Right, so
I think
two
you, I
yeses
think
in
you
here?
said you were interested.
It's really
Jerry
nice
said
looking, it's shaping up
You didn't know if he
nicely.
could make it, but or not.
If you can go,
Yeah,
go.
they'll,
Yeah, if I
Like
find
I said,
out,
my
Dave will
schedule,
say
I
yes or
don't-
no, you know, same thing with me. Do we
Yeah.
anticipate July or
I can tell you days I definitely can't go.
September?
I would probably anticipate August, but it could be late July too.
I know for me,
Usually takes-
August 20th to the 30th I cannot do.
Okay.
Vacation?
I would say,
Sesame
anytime, I would
Street,
say
no,
after
Sesame
August
Street,
20
no.
would be probably.
Sarasota, Aruba.
Oh, that's very different than Sesame Street and all.
What do you gotta do? What, who, what, where?
Suzanne, where are we going?
Does the train go there or not?
yes, it does.
I wasn't gonna
I
ride.
know it goes to Jamaica, but I know if it went to.
It's a long drive.
Are they gonna need to do that, like, vetting, background process? all
I
that
don't
again?
know, I don't know how much they're gonna have to do this time. You know, I haven't talked to them
'Cause that,
about it.
Oh, that
Created-
security check thing?
yeah, that created a delay in us
It's a pain.
finding
Yeah,
it.
the
It's a pain.
driver's license check.
It's a pain. I'll have to-
While we're here, Bill, can you introduce, tell us a little bit about her, what she's doing in the
Yeah,
office?
Sheila
Yeah,
Benesh,
yeah.
over there in the corner, is our new transportation planner, has been with us. Actually, she was hired the day before the
Freeze?
freeze went into effect in December. She didn't get here until early this year, but she's doing our transportation planning, and she's doing a lot of stuff with social media and that, and trying to get us sort of into the 20th century in social media. We'll work on 21st after we do that. And also doing, some data analysis and things. She's working with our interns, we have an intern actually that's setting us up to be able to analyze Twitter feeds on different issues. So we get even though we can't do polls, we can't do a major poll, we can't talk to every rider, we can at least get some sense of what the sentiment is out there by looking at Twitter feeds and which way it's trending. Yeah, so that's, and, she's gonna be working on some other,
Is Twitter the only social media platform?
right now, we're just looking at, we're working on Twitter to get set up on Twitter. We may, end up doing other,
I just recommend, which I said when we did that communications
yeah,
visit or whatever, I
yeah.
think the everyday rider isn't necessarily on Twitter, they're more on Instagram or
Yeah.
Facebook or
Yeah.
something, so I think we should explore
Yeah.
seeing what's being posted
Yeah.
there, because you
Right,
get more pictures and videos and in the moment
right.
things that could
Well,
be
one of the things is, what we're doing now is textual analysis, so in a sense, in one sense, it's more accessible for us. It's, there's sort of tried and true things to do.
And
Pictures are a little
Facebook
bit
doesn't
harder.
allow you, it's harder to get data from them, they don't just allow you.
It's
to
more of a
share.
manual process, where
Facebook
Twitter, you
can-
could have a filter to
Yeah,
look
you
for
can just,
certain
just
take the feed and filter it down and.
And
take-
Instagram is more pictures, and so it's harder to
Yeah,
now
so it's harder to
analyze
figure out
photos.
Well, are you
What
signed
the
into the
picture
Long
is.
Island Fail Road on Facebook?
or many others.
They
No.
can't,
Well, that's-
they can't, because they're MTA.
We're not allowed,
I
yeah,
don't know.
That's what I'm saying, we're not capturing,
You know,
We're all on it.
I'm on it,
Yeah.
Jerry's on it, they don't know who we are, you post too much.
Well, they ask you to join on it,
No, they actually,
I'm not an
they
MTA
actually
voice.
but they
say,
are.
yeah, they actually say if you're,
We're on
We're
video,
on
right
video,
now. We're
not-
on video right now.
yeah, you're not eligible.
Okay.
And I don't, I try not to do stuff like that because it's not fair. I wouldn't want them to come in and lie to me, so, you know.
Well, I never lied.
No, I mean, no, you're not employees. I mean, they didn't
Yeah.
ask you whether you
We're
were
riders.
affiliated with a transit group or anything.
Pay my $391 a month, I should qualify.
I think it's just a better survey of what's going on out there. So we'll obviously realize that we need to relay that.
Yeah.
What we see on there, we need to.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
like the
that's
train,
fine.
like the
Sure.
I
train,
do that all the time, I send it
the train that missed, the train that missed a stop, that totally blew the station. You know, that's where I found that out.
Right, someone's not gonna, it's less likely they're gonna tweet
Yeah.
that. It's gonna be on one of the other
But,
platforms.
yeah, but I think we're picking up that feed on Twitter. We're just not, we just can't be, you know, if somebody's sending stuff out from there, we're picking, you know, tweeting, retweeting a piece that has appeared someplace else. It's just we have to figure out how to get the other social media platforms.
Now, one thing about social, I mean, 85% of it is pure garbage.
Oh,
I mean, it's like they're complaining about this passenger and that passenger, but I mean, it's just a
Right.
total garbage. But
Like,
that
guy in
10
front
to
of me.
15% where you know,
Right, no, I mean, yeah, it's a guy in front of me was eating a salami sandwich and.
Yeah.
Well, I don't wanna jump in, but I have a question
Yeah.
before does anybody here take the survey that they're giving out?
I never got it.
oh, the railroad survey?
Has anybody
Yeah.
here got, did
The one
anybody
that I
get
said
it?
you could print out?
But did anyone get it?
No.
I mean,
I didn't.
Yeah, they had
I
a,
did get it.
But you know, I
As a
got- I did get
passenger,
one.
you got
As a
it?
passenger, at 5:07 in the morning, I was shocked that they'd be out that early.
but you know, I go back to what Maureen said a long time ago. Any kind of survey, you can skew it and the questions so that it's
That
so
wasn't, but
ambiguous.
that's not my question,
Yeah.
so I'm wondering who's
Right.
getting them, because I've been on the train since 1986, and I've never gotten one, so I'm just wondering.
Boy, they know where you ride.
they've got, they apparently have a plan of.
That's a good
I'm gonna sit next to you, Bill. Let's get
Okay,
a seat. Can
sure.
you give us one of those, give me one of those seats?
Yeah, sure.
Next to you.
Hold on.
We have
You can have a
We'll now room
chair.
chair.
Pull one of these up.
I don't live over here.
Whatever, suit yourself. But I'll just pull this up, I'll just pull this one up.
Sorry. How's everybody?
Run your show.
To make this quick, I already did your introduction, so you missed it.
All right,
You
fantastic.
missed all the glowing things that I said. But it's on video, so you can watch it later.
Yeah.
We have to be videotaped because it's a meeting.
That's fine, that's fine, I've got nothing to hide.
No, it's just, I always let people know that's how
Yes, sir.
I won't make any silly jokes. I'm not very good at that anyway, so.
I've already introduced you, so we'll just click right in and feel free
Sure,
to take over.
and let's just
Do you want us to go
make it
around
as-
his house?
Oh, with Miller.
Yeah, that'd be
No,
great.
And what county and never branch they're on?
Well, I'm Bill Henderson, I'm Executive Director of PCAC.
But Miller wants to hold it now.
Mike Cadino, I'm a Nassau County appointee, and I ride the Brooklyn line from Limerick.
I'm Ira Greenberg, I'm from Queens. Isn't that enough?
Be a couple left.
I know I ride.
Yeah.
Brian Franzo for Nassau County. I primarily ride out of Hicksville, and I've been on the council for like 10 years.
Jerry Bringman, from Suffolk County, I ride out of Patchogue on Montauk Branch.
And Larry Rubenstein from Nassau County, primarily on Babylon Bridge.
We have a new member that has just been passed through, he isn't here yet, from Suffolk.
Could be the.
And we had our people that couldn't make it tonight, probably this summer, so
Understood.
we're here.
Well, I thought a good way is kind of go through Long Island Railroad Forward as an opening, and then just have an open dialogue and kind of some of the things that we've been doing at the railroad since I started, I think, back on April 13th. And obviously, one of the things that I've been focused on, and it's been a while since I've seen this, so let's see.
The arrow?
The arrows?
Yeah, the left and the right arrow. There you go.
Oh, it worked.
Customers, it's been the #1 priority, and it's been kind of really trying to change the focus at the railroad in terms of not just operating a railroad, but really thinking about the customers and how they're feeling about things. And I think what's happened is that, we get so caught up in the day-to-day that we don't always realize that at the end of the day, it's about the customers. And so what I've been doing since day one and continue to do every day on my commutes is to make myself available to the riders, to the communities, And even though I ride the trains every day myself, is to hear it from their perspective, because a couple of things, I want to hear it directly, I don't want it filtered. And at the same time, I want to make sure that my own observations is either consistent or not. And it'll also help guide us as, you know, as we're doing things. Are we doing the right things? Are they even seeing improvements, or are we doing things that from their perspective don't mean a lot? So it's been important to have that feedback, to let them know that I'm available, that I'm listening, and that we are taking action. And as I get into it more, the intent is to really show more urgency with how we're doing things. All right, and you know, obviously I think it's pretty common knowledge, but they want to know that when they leave from their origin and get to their destination, that it's easy, that they're safe, and it's a comfortable trip. And there's challenges with all of these, but this is the goal, and this is what we're striving for, and we'll strive for this every day. Right, and so this is really like, what's the roadmap to get there for us? And how do we change the culture at Long Island Railroad? How do we become more dependable, and how do we change the mindset that it's not just about the railroad, it's about how the customers feel about it. Right, so one of the first things I did when I sat down with the team was to go through what was originally called the PIP, and we eventually turned it into Forward. The PIP had a lot of things in there that were the basis of this, but a lot of the PIP, what was it, the Performance Improvement Plan, had a lot of more establishing teams that would better respond to incidents. And there were a number of things that I noticed that were causing us delays, that were not being fixed, that they were part of a future capital program, that I said, you know, that's all well and good, but if they're failing multiple times a day, or in my short time period of only a month at the time, they failed 3 times, then I don't think we could wait until, even if it's next year, we didn't have the luxury of that. So really drove home that you know, we're spending more resources responding to these incidents, and we're hurting our customers more, thinking that waiting until it's done as a capital project is more cost effective. I'd much rather do it and planned, but with urgency, take care of it, and minimize the response, and then in the end is provide more reliable service to the customer. Right, so taking a look at best practices that the railroad's been doing, taking a look at best practices that others are doing, but also looking at new practices that maybe is not tried and true, but something is innovative, that will enable us to go faster, provide more reliable system. And I've been trying to tell the staff that, you know, this is not about just the way we've been doing it, that you know, my thing as the president and the senior management as managers and leaders, you know, if we're going to ask staff to do things differently, do things more quickly, we need to make sure we give them the tools, make sure we give them the support, and make sure that it's being done safely. And that's all about how has it been done in the past and how can we improve it. Right. The other piece that we've heard from the riders is, and this is a work in progress, is, you know, when there are delays, and a lot of them are actually very upfront and